All right, we're going to be in Hopscotch today. We're going to start off with some new projects and use this pretty cool drawing program. There are some pretty sweet things we can do with this. This is one of the examples that I did with all the code that I put in here. I'm going to make Mr. Mustache make some pretty sweet designs here. Look at this. And what it's doing here is creating a square over and over again, kind of stamping it on the stage here, rotating, stamping, rotating, and stamping about 180 times. Let's fast forward it and see what happens. All right, here's this pretty sweet woven design, almost like it looks like a 3D donut right there in the middle. It almost looks like it curves in. Pretty sweet, huh? All right, so this is Hopscotch. Now let's create a new project here, just right there on the left side. We can create a new project, and you can be any of these guys, Mr. Mustache, Mr. Long Arms, or Space Dude. Let's be our little gorilla, Mr. Gorilla. When we tap and scroll on the right side, we get a little bit more space up top. Give you a little bit of a layout breakdown. There's a menu right up top where if you want to rename your project here, let's do that. And we'll just name it Mr. Gorilla Goes to Town. All right. So now it's Gorilla Goes to Town. It's the name of this project. So we've got the gorilla here. You can change his name there too if you'd like. Notice on the right side there, the starting position, that is where he starts off working. And you can just tap and move it all around. Notice this looks exactly like a grid that you'd find in math. And it is, because if you didn't know this, your tablet or your screen is an X and Y coordinate plane. Pretty cool. You didn't ever know when you would ever use graphing. This is it in your computer and on your iPad. So these units here, the 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, do you know what those are? Those units are pixels. So the iPad screen is actually 1068 by 1024 by 768. So if we bring him all the way down to the top right corner, it's going to be close to that. Boom. It's 1007 to 754, something like that. All right, so that's pretty cool. That's the width of the screen. So if we want to start Mr. Gorilla right out in the middle, we're going to do that. Let's figure out what we can do with the gorilla. We can move him. We can rotate him. We can change his X, which do you know is that's left or right or up and down? If you're going to change his X, that's left and right, just like in math. Same thing with changing Y, that's up and down. We're going to set his rotation, that's different angles and things like that. Set his position, do we want to move him forward, up, down? Set his speed, make him super speed as if he was hyped up on caffeine, and leave a trail. It means he's actually going to draw. And all I'm doing here is just tapping and holding and moving them down. So if I want to drop the codes in there, I just drop it right in there and it's done. I can change the width. I can clear the drawing. I can repeat something over and over again, which is pretty cool. I can scale him, make him bigger, make him smaller. I can set his opacity, which means transparency. So if I want to make him disappear, I'm getting tired of his ugly face, I can just click opacity 0 and he is gone. Change his costume, makes him do a little dance, the gorilla dance. Bring it to front, send it to back, and so forth. We can make some variables and the math symbol of random, variable of random. So we can use that later on. So let's just kind of play around with them. So when the play button is pressed, it's there on the right side of the screen. This is the drop-down menu. I can make it so that when the iPad's shaken, when the stage is tapped, when the iPad is tilted, and so forth. So all of those things work as well. So what we're going to do now is we've got him planted right in the middle of the screen, right around there. Right? We're going to just kind of make a design here, which we would maybe do like a square or something. So first thing, if I want him to draw, I have to drag, leave a trail there. And then from there, I'm going to move the stuff, the program codes, inside. And so if I move a distance of 300, remember that's 300 pixels, and on the screen there, that's 100, 200, 300. So that's going to be about 300. It's going to go up to around 800. And then if I'm making a square, do you know what angle I need to rotate? What's the corner angles of all the squares? Do you remember? It's 90. So if you said 90, good job. If you didn't, it's 90. All right, so we're rotating at 90 degrees. And let's just hit play and see what happens. So he moves, rotates 90, boom, there he is. Now, with a square, I have 4 sides, right? Well, I can minimize this process and scroll over here and do repeat. And this is actually really, really cool. So if I move the distance inside there, rotate inside there, how many sides did we say a square has? Well, that's 4. So we hit enter, and it's going to do this process 4 times. So it's going to move, rotate, move, rotate, move, rotate, a total of 4 times. and we are going to have a square. How awesome is that? Mr. Gorilla, good job. High five. All right, let's make the square a little bit smaller because we're going to do some pretty cool things with this. We're going to set the speed, make him be all hyper, and we'll only let you set it up to like 10 million or something like that. So now when we do it, it's going to be a smaller square, and it's going to be super fast. Look at that. And you know what, Gorilla, I'm getting tired of your ugly face, so I'm going to get rid of him. So when I want to get rid of him, I put what's called set opacity, put it down to 0, and he'll go away. Watch this. So he draws it, and he disappears. So if you want him to be gone the whole time, put it up at the beginning. And we no longer have Mr. Gorilla. I'm sorry, but you're gone. All right. A couple other things we can do here is we can change the color. Change the color here. We can change the line width. And we can do it random. So we can drop this random over here into the random width. And we want it from, let's just say, 1 pixel to 50 pixels. And the color we get to pick. Or even with a color, you can do random. There we go. So now it's going to draw. And if we stop it, hit play again, it'll do a different square. We do it again, it'll do a different square. And I can actually repeat this process over and over again. So if I want it to look really, really cool, I'm going to drop all of this stuff now inside the square. It does get a little bit tedious trying to drop everything in here. I'm going to drop up there. Set my speed up there. And now what this is going to do is we're going to draw. This is the square right in the middle, that 4 times. That's the square. We're going to repeat this process, let's just say 20 times. So now it's going to set the random line color, random width, and it's going to do the process 20 times. So it's going to make it look like a flashing line over and over again on top of each other, imprinting itself over and over and over and over until you get this sweet looking square. And it's random. Every time it's going to look different. There it is. Pretty cool. There it is. And it looks different than last time. All right. So that's pretty much it for the basic functions here. I will have an advanced tutorial here if you'd like to watch that one for variables and things like that. And so that's pretty much it for Hopscotch, guys. Thanks for joining me. Check out my other videos. Later.